evening. I'm having a couple of technical difficulties, so stand by just a second. Let me see if I can get this to work. Silverado has stopped working on me, which not entirely sure as to why. Huh. It's weird. There is something indeed broken. Why? Why would it be so broken? Well, it looks like I won't be able to change that for this stream. This is very peculiar. This was working just like the other day. So I'm going to take a quick moment to evaluate what could be going on. So go over here. Might be the server. Server might be bugged out. All right. Silverado. Air logged. Well, it's not showing anything today. Let's go back to the area here and double check this. And nothing. This very much looks like a I don't know what this is. This might be a browser problem. But I tried it on 3 different devices. Let's just try and go to the main area. Well, there definitely is something bugged. Oh, wow. That is a big bug. What the heck? That is a huge bug. A big bug, and I don't have a way to squish it. Well, I know what's going on here. Sadly, don't have the ability really to change that. Not until I get a chance to look at it this weekend. Because the functions are all broken. Wow. That's so weird. I didn't update anything, though, within the last couple of days. Why would it now start to glitch? Well, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. That's a weird roundabout way to do that. I definitely need to look at that. That is very unfortunate and makes me wonder how many other things are broken. Well, correction. Visually, the whole site is broken. So yeah, that's a big problem. All right, well, that took a little bit longer than I wanted to get started here, especially since this is already a late stream. All right, now let's go over here, and I want to go to Rumble because we have had some problems with that. All right. There we go. All that stuff. Operational and Twitch. Okay. It says that Jess has a 40 stream streak. That's a lot. Holy smokes. Okay, so now we are off to the races. We're going to be doing more on this arm, and then I'm going to be starting the rigging process. So right here we have our... Well, we have it good for the most part. There's a couple things like right here I want to try and smooth it out because it just looks a little weird. It's a little bit easier to see it when it's like this, though. You can see what's causing problems.
serious face.
Yeah, greetings, oi, FBI. Things have changed. It's not so FBI, now it's, oi, it's the FBI. Why so serious? Why so serious? Well, we're serious because we're seriously focused. And also the lighting's just dramatic because I changed the lighting around so I don't have the, flickering on the background, which has been a problem. So I just decided up and move the entire lamp. Problem solved. But now I have this, starker contrast. Why don't you use a real background? Well, I can tell you why I don't use a real background. Because there is just a blank wall. And it's super boring. Besides, when I'm like this, I have the ability to very quickly move on over to story time. Greetings, everyone. We're going to be telling you a nice story about what I was like to go wandering through the woods the other day. I heard a strange sound. You should have been there. It was a very loud and shrill sound. It sounded like a bird, but I wasn't entirely sure, so I pulled out my camera and I started recording. Anyway, that's what this background's for. And then I'm like, well, it works. It used to be something else completely different. It used to be something very generic. And I just... yeah, like the reminder that there is, a wilderness background with a campfire. It's a lot more familiar to me. I spent a lot of times in the wilderness, and so to that, it's homely to me. It's all good. Show the mess. You want to see the mess? Oh boy. All right, let's show you the mess here. Okay, ready? Okay, here's the mess. I'm gonna grab camera, okay? And by the way, yes, the music cuts out pretty strongly when I change that around. Okay, ready? Ready? This is what's so amazing about this background. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What an absolutely boring background. Anyway, let's get back to the other scene here. By the way, that's one of the reasons why I cut off right here. Camera's too close. It's a pretty small place. Maybe you just need... maybe you think it's... maybe you just think it is boring, not the audience. That background is good. You wouldn't have to worry about lighting. That would let your light your pretty face even. Oh yeah, light my
Very pretty face.
even better. Yeah, no, it used to be that there was just, when I had a different place that I was living, there was actually a 3D printer back there. And it actually was a pretty decent thing. But now it's just a blank white background. And what I found is that a lot of people actually leaned into the storytelling aspect of it. So I kept it. I went through probably about 10 or so different background setups. And this is the one I set upon. One day when I eventually move, it's going to be something else entirely, because I'll actually have space to work with. It actually was supposed to initially be a wooden wall. I was going to get a wooden board, put it up there, and there's going to be a little shelf for 3D prints and whatnot. And unfortunately, this wall is actually pretty hard to put stuff up against because it's such a very narrow area. And I actually had problems with that. And so I thought, you know what? We'll just forget it. Just get the green screen. It's cheap. It's easy. Because, I'm cheap. I'm easy. But one day it will be a little shelf back there. And it'll be, nice and cool and be able to have things like there's a high quality antler back there. Just throw it back there. And also some of the 3D prints that I've done. Yeah, Alaska is expensive. Yeah, yeah, very expensive. Believe me, it is something that I have been cringing at more and more the older I get, just realizing how absolutely expensive this place is. But hey, you know, it's a things don't stay expensive forever. You eventually find ways to kind of work around it, and things get better. Eventually. Anyway, what has things been like for you? Not so FBI, which has suddenly changed because you had you're on the Twitch side now. You're on the YouTube side. That's why it's Oi FBI. I can't complain. I can't imagine paying $200 for Wi-Fi, and that's one of the cheaper things I have to pay for. This is a generic, very generic glass cup. Very generic. This thing cost me $8. When I was in Europe, I found the same thing for like €2, which is less than like a third of what this thing cost me. Golly. Things like that just are really unfortunate. I really do have to wonder why some of our businesses are so determined to try and gut us. Buy a whole set for that? Yeah. Exactly. I had to pay $8 per. I can't type $8. I don't pay for water. Well, thankfully, I am in Alaska. That means my water is very clean. And it is free. Oh, that would be great to actually have the sound effect for that on Silverado. I got to add that. All right, where's my notes? I lost my notepad. Oh, we'll just do this a generic way. Okay. Here. There we go. Note made. But no, my water up here is actually some of the best in the world. And it all comes free. For the most part. I mean, our water's pretty cheap for the most part. Just because there is so much water. And one of the things that we want to make sure that happens is that we maintain the safety of our water reserves, because it is very important to us. I like having nice, clean water, and we don't want any of that AI nonsense coming in and trying to steal our water. But we have water purifiers. Did you see the leaked footage of GTA 6? I didn't. I heard that it happened, but I have not had the chance to see what all the talk has been about. I'll be curious to see what happens with that game. I've heard a lot of people kind of give predictions that this could be pretty bad for the industry, just because of how the game is being handled. And I don't discount that. They've made a huge gamble. And if they mess this up, it's going to be pretty hard hitting for the AAA game industry. I would say it's probably going to be one of the last, well, probably the last high-end game that's ever made. And I have reasons to believe that. I don't have any proof of it. It's like it's a gut feeling. I've learned over the years that many times if I have a gut feeling, there's probably a good reason to kind of take heed of it. I don't claim to be a prophet or anything, but I do know that human trends tend to follow a pattern, and I'm noticing a pattern. Hey, greetings there, Jersey. How are you doing? Yeah, that didn't turn out so bad. Maybe widen that a little bit. I'm looking for the way that it's lit up. Notice how this middle finger right here actually has the tendon that looks a little bit more natural than these others. That's what I'm trying to do, just make it a little bit more of that natural feel. And once I have that, then I'll just duplicate it across to the others. What is your Instagram? Never mind, I found it. Oh. I sent an Instagram. Hope you don't mind. Okay, let's take a look at it. Let's see. Back in. Where'd I put that? Where's my... Oh yeah, that's right. Things are glitching here. Oh, is it? Ah, well, let's try and do that. Well, it still came through. Okay, thanks for the heads up on that, because otherwise I wouldn't have known that this was you. So we will accept. All right, let's take a look at this here. I can't pull it up on the PC right now. Ooh. That's pretty decent lighting, especially for how big the game is supposed to be. I wonder what the if it will have some of the glitches though that happen with things like Cyberpunk. That always seems to happen these days with high-end games. Got a biplane. Oh, that's a pretty big map. That'd be quite the map to explore. Clouds are a little glitchy there, but that's to be expected with that sort of stuff. They're probably still developing that stuff. Most intriguing. Still got the standard ragdolls. Well, the fighting seems to be a little bit more logical, kind of more like Red Dead. Really good lighting for the cars. at least from what I can tell. And then finally, the map. Oh my. That is a very substantial map. You know, it kind of makes me want to actually get it. I don't know if I will, but that is a very impressive map. Okay, where's the... Where is it? There we go. Hey, greetings there, Bastion and Tashar. How are you doing? Yeah, you better not. They'll take down your channel. Yeah, ooh, you gotta watch out for those people. Of course, it'd be actually really impressive if they did, because I'm a nobody. When will this be complete? Well, technically it's complete. I just went back, decided to do one more tweak to this before doing the rigging process. Her GTA was from version 3. That GTA leak was made from a version 3 years ago. That's quite impressive that they were able to do that much 3 years ago. Mark the GTA VC map and sent it. Oh. I remember them saying it was based upon Vice City, and if that's just the Vice City area, then that map is gigantic. They say the hacker got a playable version. You know, when I was trying to get a first job, I was looking for ways to become an intern. And around that time frame, a lot of companies were starting to not hire interns anymore. And I was a little surprised by that. I went and talked to an advisor and mentioned about, hey, you know, these people aren't hiring anymore. And he was like, well, it's just for a short time. And things never quite changed. See, around that time, Sony, I believe, was the company that got hacked. And they had 6 movies that got leaked onto the web. And it just gutted their industry. And a lot of companies started asking questions like, how did this happen? And to my knowledge, nobody has actually truly been held accountable for that, although there's some good reason to believe it was an intern that was responsible for it. If nothing else, the interns got the blame for stuff like that because they were given way too much authority and it caused all sorts of problems. And so, anyway, it was an interesting thing to consider that a lot of these companies started trying to eliminate hires because of things like that. And that did affect my early years of getting started because I wasn't able to put in for the same types of internships that I once would have been able to do. Of course, there was a lot of other things that were happening at the time, and that was just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say. The guy who leaked the gameplay was also threatening to leak more, saying that if the game is made digital only and have no physical release, he would leak the ending of the story. You know, what's really unfortunate is that the company won't care. They'll use it as a reason to get like a tax write-off of some kind. I know the spirit of why he did it, but honestly, I don't know if that's actually going to do anything. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, this loops in, that loops in, connects to there. It's this one. Okay. Hey, greetings there, Jess. I saw, Jess, that you have 6 days ago, I got a notification that it says you have a 40 stream streak. Most impressive. Most impressive indeed. 41 now. I don't know if that affects the company. AAA games aren't interesting anymore. Indie games are fun. Probably 42. Oh, yeah. No, I would probably say the AAA game industry is probably way worse off than they're letting on. And the reason why is because a while back, the industry kind of peaked. It got to that point of where they had such a massive amount of success that a lot of companies kind of cashed out and said, okay, that's it. No more kind of fighting for this stuff. We're just going to call it quits. And I remember hearing about all these companies that were just kind of closing up shop in a way. They weren't necessarily truly closing up shop, but they were like people in the industry that were trying to move on to other stuff. And it made me wonder if we had reached that zenith. And I would probably say that maybe income-wise we hadn't, but I think creatively a lot of people had said, yeah, that's it. We don't really want to try and struggle anymore. One of the ones that made me think that was when the Halo games kind of concluded and the team was like, okay, that's enough. We're going to move on to other stuff. And the other stuff wasn't nearly as successful. Yes, it still was successful, but it didn't have the same impact as things like Halo. Now, some games are trying to make their comeback, kind of like Age of Empires. They made a comeback that no one saw coming. A game that was basically dead. They brought it back, and it became popular yet again, and just took the world by storm. And so, yeah, absolutely, you can make a comeback and still keep making stuff, but a lot of companies seem to have lost the will to fight, and the indie game scene has been thriving. But indie games don't make the same amount as they used to, so it kind of spoils a lot of their motivation. It's one of the reasons why you don't want money to kind of drive you forward. If you allow money to dictate everything, well, then it will many times sap your creativity or the drive just to be creative. Just turned 42. Dandy. By the way, last night, something weird happened. I have to find a bird expert and talk to them. I heard a bird I have never even remotely heard before. It was weird. Neighbors heard it too. We were all outside trying to figure out what the thing was. And I sent it to one bird expert, and they came back with no idea. And so now I got to find someone else to try and consult about this. And so I got a recording of it, and then I don't have it ready to share with you all just yet, but I'll try and do that the next time around. This weekend, I'll try and have the sound ready so you all can hear it, because I want to clean it up a little bit and make sure it's nice and clear, because you can hear like the cars in the background and whatnot. We just want to isolate the sound so you can just hear the sound and try and figure out what it is, because it was so very odd. It was loud. Like, in terms of birds that I've heard in the middle of the night, this thing was something else, just in terms of volume. Right, that looks much better. Boops on me. Just keep going. You can keep going. Thanks for the heads up. By the way, folks, that you can thank Not So FBI for having the addition of the channel, the Discord levels. And I'm going to try and work with trying to make some more kind of checkpoints for folks, just for the fun of it. So if you think of checkpoints you want to kind of see, I'm kind of all ears right now, trying to figure out how to really utilize that. Kind of like early on when I had the channel points, trying to figure out how that should operate. I was very much open to kind of like whatever people were saying at the time. I'm kind of open right now, and then I'll probably start clamping things down when I kind of get a rhythm for it. Oh, you're gonna like the Sonic item. Reminds me of the air bending. Fantastic. We'll be doing some of that tomorrow, so I'll have to be giving that a try. And of course, anything that's mobility, I'm a huge fan of. Isn't it kind of funny? Some people are like, oh, I like this item because it allows me to like one-shot people. And I'm just like, I want something that can have fun moving around the map. I want to move really fast across the map. There is a one-shot pistol that only has 7 rounds for the game. Sounds like somebody is gonna, get very upset when they get sniped with that thing. Of course, I'll be more than glad to oblige with the sniping. One thing I do find interesting is the number of people that are in Fortnite that will just stand there and allow you to take a shot. What's that glitch I saw for a moment? This week in the shop, video has a wolf pup from Game of Thrones. I'll find that tweet and put it in the Discord. Ooh, dandy. Check check what I put in video. All right, let's take a look at what Jess has put in video. Ooh, robot. Oh. The bot takes himself out. That's right. Get clobbered, you clanker. Get out of here. Yeah, we don't want none of them bots. Them bots, they're a bunch of idiots. Robot clash hilarious during Beijing Olympics training. The footage comes from the preparations of the 2026 World Humanoid Robot Games. There is an Olympics for robots in Beijing. Somehow, I don't think there's possibly any chance that could go wrong. No chance that a Terminator could suddenly come out of that or something like that. They will compete in sprints, football, gymnastics. Interesting. So it hit at 12.66 meters per second, slightly faster than Usain Bolt. Laughed at the wipeout, and one called it robot gore. And the other one, the first career ending injury of the robotic athletes. That's goofy. We want to have those robots fail. We don't want them to be rising up against us. Finding the Fortnite tweet. Now, okay, just share the Fortnite one, but saw the robot as trending and knew you don't want to see it. Yes, we want to see robots get clobbered. The works here is okay. Let's see. We'll take a look at this here. Ooh, Shadow and Knuckles and Mr. Eggman coming to Fortnite along with Laura Croft. And this person who you have no idea who they are, along with this car from Nissan. And a whole bunch of cute, adorable dogs. This week in the Fortnite item shop. I like it. We want nice, cute doggies. Have to add that to the collection of critters. Thanks for sharing that there, Jess. Thought you liked those pups. I definitely like that. You know, Jess, you might actually remember this. I won't pull it up just because I don't want to promote the person that was in the photo. But there was something that the YouTuber community had where it was like towards like the middle of my time there. It's just when people actually started knowing who I was in that group. And someone made a joke that it sent a meme. I don't remember who did it. Might have been Hailstorm. But it was a picture of me as a character from the Game of Thrones holding up one of the dogs. But on the dog's face was the YouTuber who was leading up that whole group. So you might, I don't know if you saw that, but that was one of the first memes I had made about myself was somebody that showed me lifting up the head of the YouTuber group as if he was like, a stray dog. It was goofy. Not really sure what they were trying to communicate with it. Never quite figured that part out because I was a little too perplexed by it. But it gave people a laugh, at least at the time. Doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, I'll have to share it in a private chat. Or maybe I'll share it to the Alpha channel because the people that were, from those days, they already know about that. So, actually, I think I might know where I have it here. All right, Alpha chat. Okay, are we back? Well, I pressed the wrong button. It wasn't the cancel stream. It was that was a weird glitch. It has happened before. It's when I pressed the wrong button in Windows. It's a known glitch, and it's been so long since I pressed that I didn't even think about it. That was my bad. Fighting Windows again. Yep. Windows is scheduled to get that update, and I had to delay it because I was having problems with getting some work done. So it has been moved to the start of next month to try and get that stuff all squared away. So we will see what happens. But either way, I have to make that shift here very soon because I'm running out of time to make that adjustment. Where'd this thing? Oh, I know where it went. Wow. I got forgetful there. There, okay. Now, that took way more effort than, it was worth. But anyway, I just shared it on the Discord, Jess. That was the image, and that's why my thing was glitching there, because I was trying to do the upload. I pressed the wrong button. That's disturbing look of how the faces are put onto it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Hailstorm that did that one, and he just shared it like benignly to social media. Still don't know why he did it. It was very perplexing. Yeah, whenever I think of the dogs from the wolves from that show, that TV show, that's what I think of. You know, by the way, I remember I was thinking about earlier today. I need to reach out to Rolling Chairs and see if he wants to do a review, kind of like what we did with Ahsoka Series 1. It's been a while since I've heard from him, and could be an interesting to do another review stream with him. Because I've already made the decision I want to watch the Ahsoka show. Just gotta find the right time for it. I just thought, oh, wolf pups, Jeff will like those as long as he ignores what show they came from. Yes, that you are correct. You are very correct. As I have made no secret of some of my problems with that sort of a series. But, you know, having the dogs is, you know, perfect. I mean, those dogs didn't want to be in the show either. They just want to be cute and adorable. I remember with when I first became aware of that show was after people had been talking about it for a while. All I knew was that it was popular, and I didn't really know too much about what the content was. And so I suggested to my brother, like, hey, we should watch this show. And he responded with, you know what's like in it, right? It's like, not really, other than the fact that, you know, everyone's been talking about it. And he just had to say a few words. I was like, okay, yep, we're not watching that. Golly. It's a shame. The author made it very clear, like, what he was gunning for, and he succeeded. Kind of interesting how that happens. You know, some people, I don't believe he made a very good decision. I've made no secret of that. I think that one of the most difficult things, though, is trying to find out how to talk about that stuff wisely with people that are fans, because I know that a ton of people love that show. And not a lot of people understand why someone would dislike it. And when you sit down with them and actually, you know, hash it out, after a while they're like, oh, dang. Well, I can see why that would be a problem. I don't agree, but I can see why that would be a problem. Kind of similar as to when a couple of years ago, there was a person that I was talking with who loved a certain show, and they kept singing one of the songs from it. I don't remember the song, but I do remember some of the lyrics, and I was like, what the heck is that song? And they're like, isn't it catchy? I was like, do you know what that song's saying? And they're like, of course it's saying this, this, and this. And was like, don't you see a problem with the words that you just said? And they couldn't imagine it until I said, okay, so what if I was to say, and I basically repeated the words of the song, but I just used them in like normal speech. And you can see their face just kind of get, okay, I see what you're talking about. Yes, it is not a good song. They didn't agree, but they could understand that they had overlooked the lyrics, which I think is an important thing for us to remember, is that, you know, whether it's a story, whether it's a song, these things do affect us, even if it's just a little bit. And the more that we feed it, the more it kind of like starts to take us over. And I'm speaking from experience here. There are some things I'm like, dang, this is stuff that does cloud your mind. This stuff does come back and haunt you. And some of the more egregious sort of things is things like things of gore, like of the things that I take issue with. Like I've said before, some of the things that I am getting even more disgusted with are things that have to do with excessive violence. And I used to not think anything of it until suddenly there was a moment where it finally clicked in my head about what it was that I was seeing, because people I knew were getting hurt. And I thought, I'm basically delighting in what if they got injured, and it changed my perspective. Like you don't like the little whip. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Jess. Now you got that song stuck in my head. Urgh. Now, there's a lot of things also that are like more or less benign, but you have to wonder about the person who wrote it. There was a song that I was at the TV station working on, and somebody said, oh, I want to have this piece of music playing in the background. And I said, well, we're not going to be able to get that music. That's copyrighted, and you're going to pay through the nose to be able to have it. He said, but I really like this piece of music. Can you find something that's close enough? Okay, fine. I'll try and find something that's close enough. And they said, just keep listening to this music over and over again. And that way just get inspiration from it, because I love this music so much. All right. I'll listen to it. I'll give you a minute to really kind of give a reaction as to what this thing was. But it was the song Cake by the Ocean. I had no idea what that song was about. And so I'm starting to listen to this thing on repeat, trying to get inspiration as I'm making the visuals that are going to go along with this restaurant. And I'm like, why did they choose this song? Is it because this is like an ocean themed restaurant and they have like ocean, so is cake? Is that what it's referring to? Nope. And around probably the 20th time of listening to it on loop, I thought, these lyrics are making no sense to me. And so I went on to YouTube and typed in, what the heck is, well, I didn't say that basically, but I said, what is the meaning of this song? Like, what are they singing about? And it's like, great. They chose a very perverted piece of music that in the lyricist's own words said they wanted to try and put in as many sexual references as they could into one song. And that was all designed to create new ways of saying the same sorts of things. So suddenly we went from like, oh, this is kind of catchy piece of music that they want to have in their restaurant, to suddenly, what sort of person is this owner that this is the song that they chose? Poor Jeff. Yeah, poor me. Everyone, say boo hoo, everybody. But that was, kind of a realization that, there are lyrics out there that are going to be benign to some people and suddenly surprise everybody else. For me, it was benign up until I figured out what it was that they were actually saying. And so now, when I'm at the store, at a restaurant, and inevitably, I don't know why, it's starting to play more and more as of late. And I'm in the store, and suddenly that starts playing. And I'm like, you guys either one, know what it is you're playing, and boo-hoo, exactly. You know what it is that you're playing, or you don't know, and other people will know, and they're going to assume that you're part of their group. See, around about 10 years ago is when I started realizing that you can have a struggle. But the moment you try and make a struggle, when you start to promote that struggle and try and encourage others to duplicate, that's when it starts to take on a different sort of meaning. And I realized that there's a lot of people in this world that rather than say, hey, this is something you kind of keep to yourself, they put it on full blast for the whole world to see. And that changes a lot of, you could say, the outcome of those struggles. And so when I see things like that, I'm not just seeing the fact that somebody, finds it interesting to themselves, is that they want to put it on full blast for the whole world to see. And then it kind of brings other people in to have to struggle with that as well. It's sharing the misery, you could say, or sharing the tripping hazard, you could say. And that's where, it's something that seems just fine. Suddenly you start understanding more, and you're like, well, it's not so fine after all. And so when my friend a couple of years ago had this piece of music that they were listening to, not this one, this is another one. It was about it was a song that basically was about, just got the buzzing back. It was basically about destroying marriages. And as you know, if you followed me on social media for a while, I take I have great problems with that. Stand by, just like my audio is causing problems. All right, I think that's working. But anyway, I have a great. Just a second, stand by. Okay, well, this stag's causing more problems. One of these days, I'm going to figure out what it is, what cable is causing this problem, and I'll swap it out, and all these problems will disappear. But until I figure out which one of these silly cables is causing that problem, it will remain a mystery. And I'm not... I looked online. I found a couple of hints as to what it could be, and everything that I've tried doesn't work. So... whoop-de-doo. Anyway, I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. Going to get myself something to drink, and I'll carry on with my storytelling. All right. So there's something I want to mention, though, in relation to this. So the piece of music that my friend was listening to was one of these ones that was talking about a fantasy of ruining someone else's marriage. And of course, I am deeply disturbed by that sort of stuff. Deeply disturbed. Because I've seen how it has affected so many people. Affected so many people. And unfortunately, as I have learned over the years, this is far more common in our culture than I would like to acknowledge. And so when I hear songs glorifying it, I have immediate disgust for it. And so to my friend, who had no idea why I was having such a repulsive reaction, they saw it as me just being, kind of stuck up and maybe a little too maybe self-righteous sort of thing. I was like, no, the reason why is because I've seen what happens in our culture when that sort of stuff goes unrestricted. And when I explained it, they didn't immediately agree with it. And I still think down deep, they really don't truly agree with it. I think that they saw me as just raining on their parade. But now let me explain a little bit about the reason why this stuff matters. Because as I've said before, you can judge a book by its cover. If somebody comes along and says, look at this, I got a t-shirt that has a picture of somebody's head and a very violent message on it. Some people look at that and they say, hey, that's them just expressing themselves. Others see it as you're kind of highlighting what you value, what you want people to know about you. And they, rightfully so, should start to feel a little nervous. Now, there was somebody that had a picture of very bad things on their tattooed onto their legs. This was many years ago, and I was tasked by an advisor to basically help make sure this guy got rehabilitated. He had been in a pretty tough bind when he was a couple of years prior, and he needed some help to kind of get restarted in life. But when I saw the tattoos, I mentioned to the leader saying, I think this could be a bit of a problem. These are very, very bad tattoos, and they were some of the worst that I've seen. And there's some tattoos that are completely benign. I will admit that there are benign tattoos out there. This one was not. It was about as blatant and as dark as you could have gotten, and pretty suggestive as well, which raised some questions. Why, during a cold autumn day, did he have to wear shorts? And not just short shorts, not just normal shorts, very short shorts. And what's more, he also wore very short sleeves, which also had some very suggestive tattoos on his upper arm. And then he starts to flirt with a couple of the women there, of which I start noticing and thinking, you know what, this guy's advertising how he thinks. And big surprise, they start saying, hey, a couple people are not feeling very comfortable around him, and then suddenly, things didn't quite turn out so well for him. He was not there for very long. And it was pretty obvious something was going to happen. Now, nothing terrible happened, thankfully, but it was something where it was advertised, this is how I think. If he just had it and had his sleeves covering it up, or realizing, hey, this is a story, this is who I was, I'm a very different person now, that's a completely different thing. You can have a book that you can judge by its cover based upon how it's presented. If you see a book that somebody comes up with a book and they offer it to you, and you see on its cover something very debaucherous, what's your first inclination of what's inside that book? It's probably not going to be so good. Now let's turn that around. Let's say it's a very suggestive cover and you're like, oh, I know what the contents of this is. And then you notice the title and it says, leaving such and such behind. Are you going to be more inclined to open it up? See, there's an area in scripture that mentions about the importance of confessing our sins. Now, that is a very difficult thing for us to do in this world. Something that a lot of people naturally are going to struggle with very, very much so. It's very embarrassing to have to deal with things that, are shameful. But yet at the same time, we're called to do that. And so you can have somebody that is transformed, somebody that has lived a very tough, inappropriate life, or even dangerous life, or violent life, and still turn around, be a completely different person moving forward. But how you advertise yourself is everything. And so when you have a piece of music that has like secret meanings thrown into it, and you're like, oh, this is something that I listen to, that's one thing. But the moment you turn around and say, this is something I delight in, something that I want you to delight in, and you start sharing it like that, well, that's going to change a lot of people's perspective. Now, there's a lot of benign stuff in this world, a whole lot of benign stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that's also not. And what I get worried about is that we're in a culture that is so very permissive in many things that we don't really stop and ask ourselves, is this good? what is going on here. And what I've noticed is with, just saying, let me get these empties out of the way. What I've noticed though with a lot of folks is that when it comes to entertainment, they can have one perspective that they have. And then when it comes to the things that they delight in and things that they watch and listen to and whatnot, that all disappears. I've always stressed that, we need to be careful about how we behave in things like our gaming or whatnot, because what we get familiar with, we start to, it starts to come out of us. Same thing with our entertainment. We have to be careful. Again, we can have things that we struggle with, but the moment we start to promote it, start to share it, then it starts to cross a line that gets a lot harder to try and deal with. Hey, greetings there, West. How you doing? I accidentally equipped one of the loading screens I got from doing one of the lobby codes, and I keep forgetting to change it back. Oh no. As long as it's not Little Whip, you're in the clear. Now I keep forgetting to change one of mine as well. It's one of the ones I did on the loadout, and I just keep spacing. Oh, I gotta change that back. Rixel. Don't remember that one. By the way, this technique that I'm doing right now is how they used to actually make a lot of the rigs, sorry, a lot of the models for movies. This is a technique of basically bridging your a lot of items together by way of the general flow of the mesh. It's actually a really effective strategy, although it is a little frustrating at times. Like this one right here. I don't want it to be grabbing the whole thing. I just want to do it in sections here. But I didn't want to do that, so I have to go through and just do it manually. So now that we have this right here, if we were to isolate that, look at this nice clean geometry that has just been created by doing that. And it maintains muscles. Doing okay, just trying to get a handle on the new stuff of the latest Fortnite offering. Indeed, we're going to be trying that out on stream tomorrow, and so look forward to seeing what they have added, which Jess has mentioned that, you know, the Sonic thing is going to look like the Avatar airbending, and I'm going to be all over that. Anything that has to do with mobility, I'm all for it. I'm a guy of simple taste. I like speed. Silly static. And as long as there's some sort of melee weapon, I'll be good to go as well. But I just want that mobility. Just want the mobility. Then, you know, life can be happy. Go lucky and, you know, memorable. But alas, every now and again, they like to just get rid of that stuff. They're like, we don't want that Alaska Jeff guy to be happy. We want to get rid of all the mobility items because we don't want people to be so fast that our pros can't be able to, you know, like ruin his day. No, they want to just favor all those old school players that, you know, just want to go around with her jumping all over the place. No melee weapons yet. Blast. They are lost. Some is good, some is meh. Some is not great. I don't like the fact that players can hack the game and change some of the rules. Indeed. I remember them mentioning that the fastest that somebody hacked the Fortnite game was like 45 minutes. And that was like after an update. That's one of the reasons why a lot of games, they will try and push out almost weekly updates because they want to try and help prevent that from happening. In other games, they're just like, yeah, we're not winning this fight. So they just give up. The flare gun can be added to game. Indeed. I think the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts might be added in the middle of the season. The Keyblade. You know, that's a game that I remember a lot of people playing when I was a kid. But never did it myself. Didn't even get to play like a little bit. Like sometimes a friend would say, hey, you got to try this game. And then they would let you try it out. Like I got to play Legend of Zelda, the very first Game Boy version of it. And I had a lot of fun doing it, but I only got to play it for like 10 minutes. And then they're like, okay, that's enough. And never got to try it again. Not until I was on the Switch a couple of years ago, and it came to be one of the free things that you could try out when you had the monthly subscription to that. And so I got to try it. before I got rid of the monthly subscription because it was expensive and I don't like monthly monthly stuff. So yeah, that was short-lived. Hacking is actually part of the game. Oh, in-game feature. Oh, okay. I remember Just mentioned about that or something like that. Somebody mentioned about it. My daughter played Kingdom Hearts a lot when they were little. Indeed. There's a knockoff Link in the Battle Pass. Yeah, we don't want the actual Link. We want the knockoff Link. I'm just imagining someone going up to Link and hitting him across the head and saying, "Knock it off." This has been a not the most productive week for me. It has been a unique kind of. Well, it's not been unproductive, but nor has it really been productive. It's been a very weird sort of week for me, and I'm hoping to be able to turn things around this weekend. But we will see if that actually happens. But one of the things that we are going to do is we're going to make sure to do at least 2 rounds minimum of the Fortnite stuff, and then we're going to make sure to get this into the rigging phase and actually add it into the scene. But I also have a couple other things I have to do for Arudai. Arudai asked for some stuff, and I need to send that to him before long because they have a much more urgent schedule than a lot of stuff I'm doing. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Which I still need to ask if I can get in on one of those. Maybe not a reoccurring game, but I want to get in on one of the smaller games and just participate with it, and really lean into the storytelling role play stuff aspect of it. Because as you all know, I would very much enjoy that and have a lot of fun with that. And I don't think that they actually even know that, like, the level that I want to go to for that. Because they always have the same people there, which is wonderful. But I want to be able to, give some ideas about how to, like, really get the storytelling aspects into play. And that will take some creativity. I think it could be entertaining. But we'll see. Anyway, one of these days I want to try and do like one of their Saturday days where they have like a stream for like 4 or 5 hours. And then basically it's a one and done sort of thing. So I gotta find the right one to actually participate in. Overall, this is already looking pretty nice. I started doing this with the hand for the initial building of it. It doesn't help for when you already have the mesh made, but this really helps for doing an initial build out of it. You can hack the game with 3 random options. One gives all players big heads. Yeah, well, that'd be something. That sounds like that Alice in Wonderland that was made by Tim Burton. If you guys saw that show, it was weird. I know there's some people, they love that show. For whatever reason, it's like one of their favorite movies of all time. And I got no idea as to why. It's like cult classic times 10. I didn't realize like just how much people are obsessed with those Tim Burton movies. But there's people, they are weeping over that stuff at the parks. And yeah, I've met some of those people. I actually worked with one of them at during a theater production. And this was back when I was at college, and it had just like come out. And people were like weeping and wailing over it because they found it so amazing. I was like, this makes no sense to me. But yeah, if you've not seen it, it's a bit of a fever dream. But then again, the original Alice in Wonderland is a bit of a fever dream too. This one though is just like, ugh. Like I said, it's like times 11 or something like that. Times 10 or 11. Not a big fan of Tim Burton films. They're all right, but I think they're overrated. I completely agree. And in fact, I will say that a lot of Tim Burton just outright disturbs me. He's, if you ever look at like behind the scenes of Disney films, you will see Tim Burton in a lot of movies. Like behind the scenes of like old films from the Disney Dark Ages. And I thought I think everyone knew that he was like a bit dark, but I think that his tastes lean a little too dark. But like I said, some people absolutely love his work, and it's to a level that I just don't get. And I can safely say I'm kind of glad I don't get it. One of the things about Tim Burton stuff is that there's people keep saying that they think that all of them are connected, and when you look at like the arguments, it actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's there's some really weird elements of the stories that I think on the surface they're just kind of benign and just mildly entertaining, and then you start thinking about more. It's like, I don't know if I like this stuff after all. Now there's some that are big cult classics, and there's some good reasons for that to be. People, for example, love Nightmare Before Christmas. I find it like ho-hum, and I think it's not very good animation. You have to remember, Wallace and Gromit was out around that time, and Wallace and Gromit did stop motion very well. Stand by. Trying different plugs, like every now and again I'll try a different plug for the static. And so one of the complaints though that I have about Nightmare Before Christmas is that it's not very good animation. And in that sense, I think that Tim Burton didn't really understand where the medium kind of excelled. He leaned into the creepiness aspect and didn't think about how you can actually make a really high quality animation that is just tells a story very well, which I think Wallace and Gromit does much better. Like some of my favorite movies are from Aardman Animation. They do a very good job, and absolutely. They also have like some really high quality animation. They have good humor. They have good story, and there's some that are just kind of like you could say stupid animations, but they're still enjoyable enough. One of those is is, at least for me, it was not very well known because it came out and I didn't know anybody that watched it. And that is the one time they dabbled in 3D, and that was Flushed Away. Flushed Away was stupid British humor. And so in that sense, that's what made it funny. But was it their best stuff? No, I think Curse of the Were-Rabbit was their best. Very good stuff. I don't care for A Nightmare Before Christmas. Watched it once, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. If there was a movie that should be remade by Disney, it's Nightmare Before Christmas. The animation quality is so bad. So bad. Picture of the two skins I talked about are put on Discord. That's the beeps. Knockoff links. The the Bastion. I think I see Bastion's new favorite skin, or what should be his favorite skin. And I'm going to say that's probably Cuddle Team Leader. That is so weird looking. Cubed. I like this knockoff Link. That's great. You might like Rixel. There's a lot of customized options. Indeed. Take a look at that one. Block Guy. Oh, is that what this is right here? That's oh, I see. Customized Rixel. Kind of has a bit of a Minecraft look to it, doesn't it? You know, here's a question. They added Lego into Fortnite. Why is there not Lego skins in the main game? I think that's a missed opportunity. Now, it might actually be because of Lego's rules. And if so, then there's no getting around that. By the way, I just want to say, when I was younger, there was a job that I wanted more than anything else. And that was to be a master builder for Lego. Now, I know it's not necessarily a real job. But when I was growing up, I kept thinking about how amazing it would be to be a master builder. And I was like studying about how to actually do it well. And then I found out that I don't have the personality for it. Oh, golly. But also it's probably for the best, although I still would have had a blast doing it. But I would not have found as much meaning doing it. But it doesn't mean I can't enjoy it, and it doesn't mean that I can't, you know, try and make Lego shorts and whatnot to try and scratch that itch. You can unlock builds based on existing skins. Wait until you see Rixel Glider, even more Minecraft knockoff feeling. Oh my, yeah. That's definitely Minecraft. For some reason now, when I see this, I'm kind of thinking that it should be
having a voice like this. Old-fashioned game.
something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a super big fan of the Rixel design. I'm a fan of the Sonic edition that they're doing, but I'm not sure that I'm a huge Rixel fan. But they could surprise me. They can have a lot of variation that could be, pretty entertaining with that. Because as you all know, I'm all about either the realism or the cartoony. You know, one of the types of games that I remember seeing, though, when I was young, that I just thought, actually, no, let me go back. There's a type of game. If they were to add it into Fortnite, I would pay the max amount of V-Bucks to get it. And it has to be an accurate, well, at least mostly accurate version of the arcade game Blitz. Still one of my favorite games of all time. And I don't even like football, but I love Blitz. Blitz is absolutely hilarious. Whenever we had a whole lot of quarters, which wasn't very often, but we would want to go over, and me and my siblings would want to go over and play Blitz just because the sheer humor of the tackles. We were pretty simple when it came to the things that we found entertaining. I find that absolutely hilarious, though, if they do like an authentic Blitz collaboration with the old one, because that's still such a popular game. I'm amazed at how many people absolutely love that game. There's a lot of people, though, that I know that don't even know what it is, which I find fascinating. The people that know it really know it well, and everyone else is just like, they don't really know, or they didn't really care one way or the other. But like I said, it does amaze me the number of people that don't know about it. I don't know it. Didn't go to the arcades, though. Well, let's see if I can pull this up.
If you were born in the 80s.
Okay, let's try this here. Okay, I think this is probably one of the ones I saw. Has a little red mark. Okay, prepare for stupid here.
First down.
Look at the the tackles.
Third down.
Oh, get him! You're going nowhere. Get out of here, splat! What's going on? Golly. That game, if they were to do a remake of that and just lean heavy into the humor, that would be top notch. I would totally pay for that. I don't even like to buy games, and I would do that. But of course, no one from Blitz is gonna, contact me and say, "What? You want to have the game that's made like Blitz? Oh, we'll make it for you." No, they won't do that. Night, everyone. Night, Bastion. Rest well. Have a pleasant evening. By the way, folks, like I said earlier, I'm going to have to play that audio for you of what I heard last night. I'll do it. I'll try and do it tomorrow. But man, I am still just perplexed by that. I was thinking about it because it was around this time last night that I heard it. 1 a.m. And it was like right outside my window. Thankfully, there is nothing outside my window right now, at least from what I can tell. Of course, I'm saying window. In the background here is, me out in the wilderness. There was a version of esports Madden football where the players were monsters or zombies. It was very funny. You could attack and dismember the ref. Hey, what's going on? I did not know about that. Sounds like a game that would do like really good for Halloween sort of events. WWE style tackling. Indeed. Yeah, I was reminded of it when you showed me the clip from Blitz. The game was similar. It probably came out around the same time, and with same sort of a game development team. It is a lot of fun. I miss arcade games like that. I didn't get to go to the arcade a whole lot when I was a kid. But there was one arcade that was that we did get to go to, and that was the military base arcade. Every food court had it, or at least most food courts had it, and they usually had like some of the more popular ones, or the ones that they got on discount. And sometimes they had ones that you got from the local area. And when we were in Japan, they had some really high quality arcade games at the time. they were phenomenal in terms of their quality. And most of them, I've struggled to try and find again. But a lot of the Japanese arcade games revolved around some sort of physical activity, or at least some of the more enjoyable games that were out there. So they had like generic, combat games and whatnot, but most of them had like some sort of unique gimmick to them. For example, there was one where you were pedaling on a bike around this, and it was a flying bike. So you're flying all over the place, and you had to just keep pedaling to keep up the speed. It was actually a very good physical workout. There was another one that was rowing down a river, and that one was a lot of fun. I wish that I could find that game again. I found like an American knockoff version of it, and it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same at all. Like lacked all the best elements of the original Japanese one. DDR. It's when we keep the kids on base and out of trouble. Yes, indeed. Oop, oop, oop. Dance Dance Revolution. Now I do know that a lot of people would do that. I didn't. I got two very left feet, and the only time I ever danced was they were very kind about being encouraging, but I could feel it. I could feel how very bad I was at it, and it was something I never. I thought in my mind I never want to do this again. But yeah, no, I did not do the Dance Dance Revolution. I like tried it for like 30 seconds. I was like, nope, not doing this. And I've never gotten over that. Funny image of young Jeff. Well, you see, I didn't even do it. I was frozen there. I like stepped once, stepped twice, like, nope. And so people, that's why I said like 30 seconds. It's mostly me just standing there. Because then I was like, nope, I'm out. There's some things in this world that, unnerve you. And for a lot of folks, it can be things like public speaking. There's people that I know that when it comes to like looking at a camera, they freeze. They cannot get two words together. And I do interviews as part of my job, and I've seen this happen with people in the past. And so one of the big challenges is trying to help get people at ease. One of the challenges when it comes to something like dancing, if you were not raised with it, it's incredibly intimidating. Because for me, look at what I'm doing right now. I am sitting in isolation, looking at a camera, talking into a mic. What about this kind of has that physical engagement factor? Besides doing outdoor activities, I was not raised to do social activities such as dancing. So when I finally did that one time, a couple of years ago doing it, that is the most afraid I have felt in a very, very long time. It's kind of a reminder to make sure that people get good socialization when they're younger, because it will come back to haunt them later on. And even when you're older, it becomes shackles around the mind, preventing you from being able to move forward. I can overcome a lot of things. That is one thing I have not been able to overcome, nor have I really had the need to overcome it. And so, thus, I never did. But when it comes to something like arcades, even something like that, it wasn't an outdoor activity. I was not used to it. So when it came to the rowing game, the one where you're like paddling down the river, that one I was all over, and I could get pretty darn fast at that. Bicycle one, same thing. Military tactics, same thing. I could do that stuff. Look at that. Lucky it was when you were young. Nowadays, your siblings would have had a feeling it wasn't gonna go good and be recording with camera phones, and that video would be haunting you. Exactly. That is one of the challenges of this modern day. And by the way, there are some things of me that have been recorded that I hope never see the light of day, because it was like relatives filming it, and they're like, cause they're expecting, okay, do it, and then it never happened. Whereas nowadays people would still post it anyway. Look at this loser who couldn't do it. But thankfully my parents were, and siblings were not like that. I heard content creators say that the hardest part of getting started is getting used to talking to yourself. See, now that's a very interesting point, because you could say one of the things that I got criticized about when I was younger was I was always talking to myself. I tell stories to myself in order to try and pass the time. And it pans out well for this sort of stuff. Being able to ramble and, for the most part, have a constant train of thought. And I feel blessed in that a lot of the stories do like start to connect. But there's a lot of folks that it doesn't necessarily go so well. They can find it a little difficult. But thankfully, I've had a good run of it. I do know a lot of people do struggle with it. And one of the things, like I said, I have to coach people when I'm giving interviews, which doesn't happen as often as it used to be, but is something that, I've had to do in the past. The one thing I can't do is try and coach when someone else is watching. That ruins everything. So I'll be in the room with somebody trying to get them to actually respond to the questions. And I will start fumbling over my words. I can't stick my words together. Why? Because there's somebody right behind me, basically breathing down my neck. And I'm like, can you just leave? Let me do this in peace. And so then they come up afterwards and say, yeah, I've done this a long time. I know I could give you some tips about how to give interviews. Like, how do you tell them I've been doing this for a long time? It was you sitting over the back of my shoulder that made it not so. So thus I need coaching to deal with the person behind me as I'm coaching. Thankfully, that doesn't happen very often, but it has happened like 2 times this last year. And I'm like, I can feel this. It's not going to go well. Halloween Oreos are out. I bought a package and have already eaten one of 3 rows since I got home from work. No, not all the Oreos. I used to eat those a whole lot when I was younger, and when I would go to college, I would have 2 boxes of them, and inevitably they wouldn't last very long. But because I was I didn't have extra money. Once the Oreos were gone, they were gone. So I would try and budget them. I would make sure that, okay, once every other day I can have 2 Oreos. Still one of the best types of cookies that have ever been made. Be right back. Going to get myself some more water. I'm going to go for just a few more minutes, then I realize what time it is and I will need to wrap up soon. So we're going to finish this forearm here, and then we're going to connect it to the hand. Limited time flavor is now apple pie. Apple pie a la mode. Apple pie. I've never been a big fan of apple pie. I remember the first time I actually had apple pie, it was a relative that served it. I think I've told the story before, and I ended up, like, as a young kid, pushing it away, and my relative kind of freaking out about it, like, why are you not eating the apple pie? Not realizing I had been raised on German chocolate cake. So for me, the apple pie just wasn't sweet enough. Also, not enough chocolate. Even to this day, it's like my taste buds have been forever, ruined because of Germany. It was funny during the World Cup when all the people over for it were going nuts for all the Oreos and the Pop-Tart flavors. Yeah, imagine how strange that must have been for them. They've heard all these things about America, and then they finally get a chance to see and experience America. And suddenly they're like, what the heck? Unlimited soda! Cheap, affordable food. Ugh, the cheap, affordable food tastes awful. Ooh, they got Oreos. The only Oreos that I liked were these strawberry ones. I had them a few years back and haven't seen them again since. My favorite type of Oreo was the mint Oreo. And when you put it in the fridge, it actually tastes really good. And the freezer is even better. It does something to the mint. It just makes it cool mint or, something like that. But no, the freezer was like a must. If you had those types of Oreos, the only way you were going to get the best flavor out of them was to actually put them in the freezer. And I had I said that they were like Girl Scout mint thin mints, just slightly better. And so it was an enjoyable flavor. I have not had those in a very long time, though. Mostly because I realized that, Oreos were like one of my, were becoming a bane of my, bane of my diet. And so I had way too many of them. and it was like really starting to show. And so I was like, I got to get, fit again. And so I was like, I need to spend more time like trying to find healthier foods to snack on. And then I realized, oh, I'm in Alaska. We got like some of the best tasting carrots. And so during the middle of the night, I'll have either radishes or carrots as my like evening snack for much of the year. It doesn't mean that I don't like the Oreos. It just means that, Oreos, have their limits for me, because I realized, it's injuring me. We would put extra Thin Mints from when I was in the Girl Scouts, and then we would get into the freezer. My Walmart sells knockoff Thin Mints. We used to get the Tasty Cake crimpets, put them in the fridge or the freezer. Butterscotch iced were good, but the strawberry iced were even better. I'm noticing that West likes strawberry flavor as a whole. Would that be correct? Like if I was to give you like a list of fruits, would you say strawberry would be at the top? Which, of course, I could get behind. I'm a big strawberry fan myself. And I get the benefit of, being in a state where, strawberries are a very common part of this state up here. What the heck? Why is it doing that? One of my favorite types of Mentos are German strawberry. Very specifically, it has to be German strawberry, because the American version is not the same. And I have missed that flavor. They were so good. What's going on here? Oh, it's because they don't match. That's why. Okay, that's fine. Hey, got a good looking forearm there. All right, now time to connect these two. What the heck is that? Those are flipped. It's weird. Let's try merging this. Distance. Nope. Huh. Not a fan of strawberry the fruit. I just like strawberry flavored things. It just says, I like banana. Blah. You can keep your banana. I don't want none of your banana around here. Keep that banana far, far away. It just makes me swollen thinking about it. For those that don't know, I have a bit of a banana allergy. Our nicer store brand knockoff of the Fig Newtons are some interesting flavors: raspberry, cranberry, orange, and blueberry ones. I've noticed a lot of people are eating the blueberry. I gotta say, there's a lot of people I know that love blueberry. I am not a fan. I don't have a problem with blueberry the fruit, but something about the flavor of blueberry is, or like when you add it into something, it just doesn't taste right. I'm not entirely sure why. move that over there. Hide that for the time being, because now we're going to merge these two. Grab that, and join mesh. We have to do some touch-ups for that one. Know all about the allergy, hence me saying that. Yes, indeed. What version of Blender are you on? Right now, I believe I'm on version 5.1. My other, my work PC has the most up-to-date version. This one is currently this because, you know, I forget to update it before streaming. Anyways, how you doing, Gino? What are you up to? The blueberry tasty cake fruit pie is and always has been my favorite, says West. Tasty cake. I don't think I am familiar with this because that's the second time you guys have said that. Tasty cake. I've never seen this before. Must be in is that a relatively new brand, or is that one that's been just really common and I just had no idea that it existed? Which is also very possible. What is that? Oh, there's another vertex. What the heck? I've seen this glitch before. Oh golly, what is this glitch? Been trying to get back into 3D modeling as well. Been too busy lately. That's understandable. I've known a lot of people that kind of go through phases. I myself have been in a bit of a phase of, you know, sometimes I have the time for it and sometimes I don't. And right now I'm in the time of trying to get back up to speed, and it's not been easy. There's times where I just wish so much that I could just go a little bit faster. So I can definitely commiserate with that. Once I get all these connected, you'll see why I went about in this technique. Hopefully it works out. Otherwise, you know, this is going to be completely ridiculous. Okay. One too many. Let's just correct this backwards here. was okay. It's this one. This one I can get rid of. Tasty Cake is a brand. I've been around since before I was born. Ah. I just was, uncultured and didn't know about the wondrous flavor of Tasty Cake. I gotta get myself another dampener for this mic. I keep hearing, whenever I type on the keyboard, I keep hearing it. What the heck? Okay. Something is definitely glitching here. A vertices removed. Question is, where did that come from? Nope, came from the wrong spot. Oh golly, what is that feature right here? It's oh yeah. Let me go to face orientation. Open this up. Okay. It's not that. Why would it be like this? I've seen this before. I just am spacing as to why this is happening. See what's doing there? It's like got extra. Oh, I remember what this is. Oh, but how do I get rid of this? This is duplicates. Delete. Nothing was deleted. Huh. What is this thing? Remove doubles. That's it. Well, that is missing. Look at the forum. Select all. Overlapping edges. Someone having the same problem as this. Merge by distance. I did that. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's do it this way. So let's just increase the distance for this one. Nope, that's not good. It's like this area. problem's still there. It's like there's another face that's hiding around here. No? All right. Let's look for another idea as to why this is happening. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a duplicate sort of faces right there, or edges, or extra vertices that are being rated. It only is around areas that I use the automated connector. Double edges. And the feature's missing. Cleanup. Oh, man. This is unfortunate. I remember this from years ago. This used to be like a super common... Whoa. Where'd that come from? Was that there before? Oh, wait a minute. I had it hidden, didn't I? This is making a little bit more sense now. Of course. Well, mystery kind of solved. Question is, how did I make this huge mistake? That's awful. Oh, golly. I don't even know the first thing to do to try and fix this. I think it's just going to have to be slow and steady of merging. Press merge points. I must have accidentally did a duplicate, and I don't know when. This is very unfortunate thing. Like I said, this has happened to me in the past. Not to this degree, though. And not without me noticing. Not with me being completely in the dark as to what was going on for this long. I can only guess is that something... I don't know. I don't know where I went wrong with that. So much for my clean geometry. Here I was feeling pretty good about that, but, you know, it's a humbling thing when you realize that your plans have been thwarted. You know, I think I know what happened as I'm doing this now. I think I was using the automated tool. I think it probably made some shortcuts, and because I had some of the geometry hidden, it probably jumped some of it. Yeah, I thought this was going to be so... This was going along so smoothly. Just to be thwarted. That's life for you. Things aren't always easy. When they are easy, yeah, well, you'll be reminded very shortly that, there's challenges. And you're not going to be able to escape them. All right, that's looking much better. Still a couple of areas where the geometry is causing problems. Thankfully, it does show itself when it is having issues. Okay, so that's nice and smooth. The area is now out here. Well, just a reminder, folks. Still could use some ideas for what to do with the Discord now that we have the new level system implemented. Of course, there is going to be a couple of people that are going to be given a slight jump in terms of their level, just because when they come in, they have history or whatnot. But for the most part, it's going to be pretty standardized. Unless there's the exceptions of having known folks beforehand, it's going to basically operate by the new level system. And grateful for the suggestion of FBI for suggesting that, because it's been something like I've mentioned before. I've been intending to experiment with for a while, and FBI's suggestion is why I actually went through with it. All right, geometry has been cleaned. Now time to connect the last little bit of this. So we have quads. Oh, no, never mind. There's one area left. Footy, it's actually a pretty crucial one. Okay. Maybe I can add another loop down here. No, it's not going to be beneficial. Let's get rid of this one because that one doesn't serve as much purpose. Then this one right here. That one does serve a purpose. That one does serve a purpose. Darn it. Just connect these around like this. And darn it. Actually, wait a minute. Maybe I can just get rid of this. No. That one's kind of a crucial part of the arm. Darn, you got another one up there. I have to merge back. Well, I guess we'll leave those ones for the time being. We'll just start the merging process here. There we go. So now it looks a lot closer to what it should be. But what that did is it saved a lot of the headache and helped to limit some of the problem points. There's still going to be some that we're going to deal with at a later date. So I'm going to call it quits right now and go get some rest. I will see you all later. As we wrap up, actually, let me see if we can actually do a raid. No, we don't have enough for that, so we're going to skip that. So we will pass on that, and we have folks that are watching on Rumble, but I'm not seeing any interaction, so I'll just assume that it might be bots again. So sorry if you're on Rumble and you're not bots, but I've learned the pattern at this point. So what that means, lo and behold, that YouTube is yet again our #1 channel. This summer has been the official flip for that. Up until this last summer, it's been Twitch. Still, that was our #1 channel. Now it is YouTube. All right. Have a pleasant evening and morning, everybody. Be civil to one another, and we will see you next time, whenever that is. Until then, folks, have a very pleasant evening. As Wes comes in to just show out there's at least one person that's not a bot over there. All right. See you all later.